Hi, my name's Penny Snowball. Welcome to number 5 in the series of 12 short documentaries entitled In Search of My Mental Health, The Road to Recovery, and this one's called Peeling the Onion. And we're going to discuss in this one really about bewilderment, being numb, not really knowing what's going on, and as it says, peeling the onion, and sort of slowly getting in touch with stuff that we didn't even have a clue was there, or for me anyway, personally, I was completely, totally and utterly shut down, and I didn't even know what a feeling was. When I first went into recovery rooms, people walked away from me. They kind of moved away from me, and I thought, this is supposed to be a safe place, you know, it's supposed to be loving and embracing. And after about 6 months, people said, you don't seem so angry anymore, at which point I went, what the hell are you talking about, angry, you know? I didn't even know that I was angry, and I went to my therapist and told her. She started laughing. Of course, that made me feel something, which I didn't know what it was, and she was giggling and saying, Penny, you're so angry, it comes out of every pore in your body. And I think I still am, actually. I think I'm still an angry person. I just think I'm more aware of it now than I ever was. I've got a lot of anger in me. I've got a lot of anger to sort out. But I'm beginning to identify it more, which I think is a good start. And I suppose I just wanted to throw it out there, really, in terms of starting therapy, not knowing, you know, for example, me and people saying about feelings and seeing words on the boards like you're sad or you're happy or I don't know, jealous or guilty, or you feel shame, or all of this stuff. I didn't know what any of those words meant, and a friend of mine's dad tried to help me back in '93 and say, Penny, you know, with your history, you know, you should be able to cry, or not should, but you know. And I never cried. I couldn't remember the last time I'd cried. I just was shut down. I almost like I was numb from the head down.
People have to do that, though. I think people have to do that to survive.
Yeah,
because it would be so overwhelming,
right?
Perhaps. And there's a sort of a survival instinct. I'll just not feel. I'll make myself as small as I can, and get on with it. Because the anger or the crying, people are scared to cry quite often because they think if I start, I'll never be able to stop because there's so much sadness. So it's safer just to sort of shut down and not feel, and drink on it, or take drugs on it, and then everything's all a little bit more manageable.
Right.
And I think I remember, one of the things I remember about when I first saw you was the anger as well.
Really?
Huge amounts of anger. I think I said to you, you're so angry, and you were going, no.
How did you see? How did my anger manifest?
It's your whole body language. You see, the trouble is, one thing you can't control, even though you may suppress it, is the language in your subconscious. Your subconscious anger comes out in your body language, and your whole body language is anger.
Do you find it's different now? Is it changed now? Is it still?
It's better now. Yes, you're much more relaxed, but there's still that anger there.
Yeah, it definitely is.
The anger, and of course, the grassroots of all of the negative emotions is fear, and your fear comes from the abuse you had in your childhood. So you've been living with this for a long, long time.
Yeah, of course, and that's I didn't. Yeah, that's really interesting, isn't it? The fear, I know the fear, one of the things, fear for me is, it's like a primal thing. It's what you, that might sound like too sort of, I don't know, but it's not even tangible. It's like, I was saying, connecting to something you were saying the other day about somebody feeling that they were so engulfed in their delusion, paranoia, that everybody was going to leave them if they got connected, if they made a connection to anybody.
It's safer to sort of reject them first.
Yeah.
And be really attuned, and as soon as there's slightest hint of disapproval or sort of not wanting them, they'll, I better quickly reject you because I can't bear to be rejected again.
That's one of the things I did in my life. I had very few friends, because if the slightest thing, and there would be, it's you out the door. You know, I'm not talking to you anymore. Yeah. And my fear was that rejection, which I suppose goes back to that feeling when my mother said to me, Richard, you were a mistake. That was almost like a rejection, you know. You didn't really want me.
And drugs and alcohol don't reject you. You know, if you buy a bottle, or if you buy, you know, whatever substance of your choice, you know what it's going to do. Might be cut to fuck, but sort of you know what it's going to do.
Yeah,
Very
really.
Good point, actually. They make you feel good in a way that nobody else ever could.
Yeah.
They're reliable.
Yeah.
They're always there to make you feel good.
Nice, warm, glowing feeling.
Well, wonderful. And it switches all the other stuff off.
Yeah. I think it is amazing what I've become more aware of. In fact, I've had experiences just in the last week of people. I went to see the psychologist. I eventually got an assessment with a psychologist. Saw her last week, asked her, she said she needs to see me again, because she said that your childhood was so disturbing and there was nobody there for you. This is, you know, and I was really shocked to hear a stranger say that to me. Somebody, and she was, you know, said this is very disturbing, you need to come back and see me again next week because we need to talk more about it. So there was absolutely nobody there. And for me, I've never expected anybody to be there. So I live in this world where I feel on my own all the time. And it's so frightening, because I feel very little a lot of the time. So it's like, how am I supposed to cope in this world? I don't feel, even now, that I have the tools. Don't feel that I do. And she said the next day when she saw me this week, she said that she felt that I said when I leave people, they just forget about me. I don't expect anybody to think about me the minute they leave the door. Nothing. There's nothing. And she said, this is all baby stuff. It's all very early. If you didn't have that with your mum, that, you know, you matter, you're there. If someone goes, they're never going to come back. That's how I live, even now. And that's ingrained in me. So that's probably why I'm angry, because one of the reasons why I feel very angry, I feel very alone, and I feel very strange in this world, and that there's an incongruence. I don't understand why people don't understand me. And she said to me that you appear to me to be somebody who's very strong, who's very this, who's very that, who can cope. Why on earth do you need the community mental health team? And I just said, inside I'm screaming. Inside I'm in so much pain. Why can't you see that? And it's like, well, you display. It's like what they call apparently adapted. You adapt.
Your adapted self.
Yeah, you adapt because
that's what's required of you from outside. So your outside, what you show to the world, is completely different to who you really are.
And you do that because...
You have many faces.
To survive.
Because A, there's the survival thing, and B, there's this is how I should behave. And so if you go and see the doctor, you'll behave in one way. If you go and see a friend, you'll behave in another way. If you go and see a policeman, you'll behave in another way. We all have these faces, these masks we put on, but very rare people really let out their inner selves because they don't want people to know about that.
I feel mine's completely split off, like separated. It's like I've put a brick wall between me and the world, because for some reason I've had to. It's like that Pink Floyd song, Another Brick in the Wall, you know what I mean? And you're out, you know. Yeah. It's kind of... I mean, when I first went to see my other therapist, I sat there opposite her like that for weeks, going, yeah, come on then, bring it on. What are you going to do to me? You know, I mean, if you think you're going to get anywhere near me, you got to earn it.
I think that's something with any sort of therapeutic relationship, any sort of counselling. The person who's going for counselling has to be so brave. Yeah. Because actually being in relationship with someone, despite all the stuff that's happened in the past, is utterly terrifying. Yeah, totally. Because you're making yourself so vulnerable.
Yeah.
And so you need months and months of are you trustworthy?
Yeah.
Can I actually sort of reveal myself to you without you turning away in disgust and horror or letting me down?
Yeah.
And that's where the onions come in, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's peeling the onion.
Yeah.
Slowly but surely, little layers come off. And the more the trust and more you believe in that person, the more you can allow them to say, until you're at a point they're seeing, or whether you're starting to show things that even you haven't looked at for a long time.
Yeah, yeah. And that therein lies the rub in terms of the 6 weeks or the 12 weeks, or yeah, it's very good.